everyone. My name is Roxy Couse, and I am lead of experience strategy here at Bloomreach, and I'm the host of our digital merchandising community meetups. To share a little bit about myself, I've spent the last decade of my career in the digital merchandising space, driving merchandising strategy at organizations such as Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Dillard's Inc. Joining me today are two expert merchandisers in the e-commerce space who have built impressive careers in digital merchandising and beyond. Today, we will spend some time sharing tips and tricks on how to refresh, renew, and revamp your merchandising strategy as we head into spring, outdoor season, and later this summer, back to school. Without further ado, let's get to know our co-host, Jenna. Welcome back to the Merchandising Meetup. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and how you got into merchandising?
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much, Roxy. Happy to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenna Ghidaleson, and I am an Enterprise Digital Experience Manager here at Bloomreach. I've been here for a year and a half now, and prior to Bloomreach, I was in merchandising at Victoria's Secret, as well as before that, I was in marketing at LVMH's Makeup Forever. And I am absolutely obsessed with all things merchandising, and I really love to strategize with my clients to help build a seamless and really connected experiences for all of their customers.
And Clinton, can you introduce yourself as well and tell our audience a little bit about how you got into merchandising?
Thanks, Roxy. Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is Clinton Couse. I'm the Senior Digital Merchandising Manager at the Xcelligence Learning Corporation. And you may ask, well, what is that? Well, we operate a bunch of different companies within our umbrella. And I most specifically work hand in hand with two of our websites, one titled DiscountSchoolSupply.com and our sister site, ReallyGoodStuff.com. You can just think of them as like the Amazon of school supplies. So you name it, we sell it. Anything that you would see in a classroom or daycare center, we sell it. And I started my career. This will be like my 20th year within the retail industry. I started in brick and mortar as a sales associate in stores with American Eagle Outfitters. Worked my way up to management, doing visual merchandising in the stores, and then finally kind of worked up to a more corporate position as a buyer with Zappos.com, where I was in charge of the men's sportswear and dress furnishings division. And which led me to where I am now, kind of doing what I used to do physically in stores. I now just do digitally, via website. So it's fun to see that, impact technology has had on the retail, landscape and industry from going from doing it physically in stores to now doing it in a digital format.
Awesome. And I love that. I used to be a digital merchandiser or a visual merchandiser back in the day too. And it's amazing how many synergies there are between in-store merchandising and digital.
A lot of the same principles apply.
Exactly. So I want to kick off our discussion talking about promotions, because I know that's always a hot topic as we prep for a season change. Which promos do we anniversary? Do we introduce new offerings? How do we push newness, but also balance that with getting rid of old inventory? Jenna, can you kick us off by sharing your thoughts around promotional strategies as we dive deeper into our new merchandising plans for the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like right now I keep hearing from a ton of my clients that it's really hard to get their customers out of that, sale mindset, right? It's a really difficult balancing game, especially during 2023 with our climate, surely not helping as we continue to see every price on the rise, no matter what the industry. However, if we're really strategic about it, we can use this to our advantage. So it's really, really easy to get our customers somewhat addicted or used to the discount mentality, and especially with new technologies that we have now out there that are comparing prices and products to one another. And if you can't get this one, here's the next best thing on discount. And you may say, okay, sure, Jenna, that's great. I would love to get away from promotion completely, but that's not going to work either because I'm going to lose a ton of my clientele. So what do we do? Well, there's a few things that we can do, one of which would be updating your merchandising strategy to boost new arrivals or any other kind of attribute-driven product. And two, segmentation and personalization. So if we dive into point number one, we really need to lean into a new breadth of assortment that your clients cannot pass up, right? So if we lean into boosting your new arrivals, let's just say, and maybe you vary that sale or that clearance product while also truly telling that newness story across the entire funnel, they'll be inspired over and over and over again. And that mindset of that, needed deal will slowly dwindle. I know I personally am always looking for a deal. So you could call me like Bargain Jenna, if you will. But Bargain Jenna, even so, however, is always looking for, the cool next best trend. So if I go to a website and immediately I'm hit with this really awesome hero banner on the homepage with new arrivals and gorgeous imagery that captures my eye, I'm going to want to click it for sure, right? But from there, I really need to be extremely inspired right away to actually purchase. So, okay, well, how do we do that? We need to continue that storytelling from the homepage all throughout the funnel, right? So from that gorgeous hero banner on the homepage, I expect to see that lively story capture me on PLP with a banner showcasing, let's say, 3 or 4 new outfitted looks that I could see myself in, right? And from there, I want to see some in-grid content that maybe showcases, a live video of an influencer trying on the new look, so I could see what it looks like. It somewhat feels tangible because, as we all know, in store you can feel things, right? Online you need to make it so I can almost have my sensory, my feel, my touch, everything in order to want to purchase that product. And then maybe this collection is curated to showcase, the full outfit next to each other, so I don't have to do any digging. So for example, if I want like a cropped tube top with a matching cardigan and then perfectly fitting pants back to that look with earrings to top it off, right? And from there, I want to make it as easy as possible for the customer, right? So from there, if you click into that tube top PDP and then you see a storyboard within the imagery that showcases that full outfit again, right? And then right underneath that are recommendations that are easily accessible to just go ahead and choose my size and add to cart immediately. So now what you've done is you've converted Bargain Jenna to now Trendy Jenna in just a few clicks, right? And that's what we want. So inspiration and easy access are going to be key here to promote new arrivals while kind of dwindling down on that always sale mindset. However, now let's say that I have a tube top, a cardigan, pants, earrings in my cart, right? This is where you may say, okay, but I still want Bargain Jenna to come out a little bit because I want her to increase her UPT a little bit more. So this is where you can showcase your items on sale as a recommendation in your cart. So something like, get these before they're gone. And now you can showcase a really nice set of heels that are on sale to complete my whole entire outfit, or a bag to complete the look that I'm looking for. So this is how you can really not necessarily eliminate that mindset completely, but also capitalize on it. And then point number 2 that I brought up was segmentation and personalization, right? It is so important, especially now, to understand your clientele and personalize experiences catered towards. So unfortunately, we are all going to have that bucket of clients that are the bargain shoppers, the Bargain Jennas, right? And then we have the other bucket that maybe are more loyal or high purchasing shoppers. And then we have, a ton of other people kind of somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe they're first-time buyers or repeat buyers or whatever it may be. Those are the customers that we really, really, really got to think about. So for first-time buyers, we want to ensure that they become repeat buyers, right? How do we do that? With personalization and segmentation, we can understand based on just a few clicks exactly what persona that they fit into. So let's say I, Jenna, who now is Trendy Jenna, comes to your site for the first time, right? And I expect to see outfits that are going to inspire me to shop, right? And get my new summer looks. And if I land on your homepage and immediately go to your new arrivals banner, and then I click in to a pair of, pretty expensive, really gorgeous jeans, I need to be input into that appropriate segmentation for that in order to grab me and make my experience incredible so that I want to return to the site. I feel like your site is listening to me and my needs. Now imagine with just 2 clicks, I now have a completely different experience than, let's say, Roxy, now your bargain Roxy, let's just say, who just wants to go onto your site, shop your 50% off friends and family deal and doesn't want to return to that sale again until maybe in summer when you repeat that sale, right? So it's important to really capitalize on all of your shoppers, but ensure that you're really strategizing on the how of that. How do I make this segmentation work to my advantage? How do I ensure shoppers don't just view me as a sales shopper, right? How do I make sure that I get shoppers back time and time again because they are inspired by such a seamless and personalized experiences? Really all good things to think about. And Clint, I know that you have a little bit more on, the retail side and such to add, so I'll hand it over to you within both of these.
Thanks, Jenna. And I will admit I'm Bargain Clint as well. So I'm a huge, sales shopper. So we share that commonality. But yeah, it's just going back to kind of what we mentioned before is like, walking your storefront, making sure everything's on display with regards to your newness for your seasonality. And so you want to keep that, shopkeeper mentality, as I put it, or that merchant mentality. A lot of the same principles that you can apply to like working brick and mortar also apply digitally. And so that goes hand in hand with, are you walking your website like you would walk your store? Are you shopping your store or your website? Like you're putting yourself in the place of the consumer. How are they going to shop your store? Is it an enjoyable shopping experience for them? Are you experience any hiccups in the shopping journey? How can you as a merchandiser help get rid of those obstacles or hurdles for the customer to make it a more seamless shopping experience for them so they are able to increase their basket size and be more highly convertible. And then you want to make sure that all products, are live on your website. You might have new launches every month. You want to make sure you're following those through their pipeline and making sure they go live on the correct, time and date. And it kind of goes back to that, old mentality where you can't sell it if it's in your stock room. Well, it's the same applies digitally. You can't sell it if the item is not live on your website. So that's important, as we kind of come into like a new season and new season campaigns and marketing campaigns that may feature these new arrivals. You want to make sure that they're at the forefront of your, digital store, and you want to make sure customers have access to those.
Absolutely. And I love all of those points. I especially love walking your storefront. And we think of from working in the store, this is something we always talked about, walking the aisles, what's being shown to consumers, what are their path, and making sure you have your best foot for it. But in the digital space, it's the exact same way as a merchandiser. You might discover old banners, products that aren't merchandised correctly. There's so many things that you might find if you get into this habit of continuously walking your storefront. And so, Jenna, you touched on personalization and segmentation, and I want to talk about that a little bit more. But first, I want to, could you talk to our audience about how do you create a consistent message across your different consumer touch points?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Roxy, this really all comes down to building a strategy for your customer's entire journey and throughout the funnel. And I think the biggest favor that you can do for your customers and for yourselves even is to stop thinking about the site as this disjointed, right? So don't think of search as search and browse as browse. Your customers don't care if search, content, categories, recs, etc. are all managed separately or have separate goals, right? The site experience journey is just one experience. It's one journey, and it requires a really delicate harmony of all of your elements, right? So that way they can work together to create a seamless, frictionless experience for your customers. And I think that we've all been in the situation where, Clint and I were talking about this the other day, but where we come across an ad for a product that we really, really love, right? We click into that product ad and it links us to a category page instead of directly to PDP. And then not only am I in this evergreen all-state category page, but I can't find the product anywhere, right? And I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and wow, now I'm just frustrated and I no longer want to ever shop with this brand again. And the brand lost a really, really easy sale that could have just been really quick, simple, and to the point. So how do we solve for this, right? One way would be to not only update linking, but obviously work cross-functionally to ensure that content is embedded in the product discovery. So really demystifying your assortment and aiding the buying journey. And What I mean by this is that if you're planning to run a campaign for a certain pair of like boyfriend jeans, let's just say, and you want to showcase content in your bottoms category page embedded into the grid, displaying that pair of boyfriend jeans, and have that lead to the PDP itself. And maybe even tailoring a banner at the top of the category page or search results page catering to that campaign. But even so, that's just like bottom level. You can really, really do more. We need to create an experience from either first land or even prior into the category and then into the product, then recommendations on the product page, then leading into your add to cart, and finally purchasing. Excuse me. So let's just say, let's imagine this narrative, right? I, Jenna, want a pair of ripped boyfriend jeans. I get emails and email all around 50% off summer jeans, and I see the jeans of my dreams, right? And I click into the CTA that email has, and it brings me to a category display page with a curated banner utilizing the same creative that I saw in the email. Alongside that, my ripped boyfriend jeans are in the first row of your product grid, easily displayed for me to add to cart. And then next to my jeans is a content cue reminding me of that 50% off code to use at checkout. Right? So after quick adding my jeans to cart, my bag pops up on the right-hand side of my computer or my phone with recommendations for summer pink heels that were pictured in the campaign content along with my boyfriend jeans. So now I'm inclined to also purchase those adorable pink heels as well, right? And you can see making the experience cohesive from start to finish is what's really going to help build that loyal and happy customer base. So again, the biggest shift that you can make this year to improve the site experience and refresh your merchandising strategy is to just take those blinders off and truly start working cross-functionally to deliver a whole experience, right? Not just an experience that's a sum of its parts.
I absolutely love that. And I think one thing that businesses must realize is that we can't undervalue having a consistent experience and what that does for the consumer. My favorite example of this is I love home decor, and Pottery Barn is my favorite. And when a new catalog drops, I get the catalog. I could go into the store. The collateral in the store is the exact same. The website is consistent. And I like to think of this as it looks like every consumer touch point is going to the same party. And I love that. So Clinton, I want to speak a little bit about preparing for peak. And I feel like you are the perfect person to speak to this because you don't work for a traditional business with a traditional peak. Your peak season is, and prep work gearing up for it is very unique. So can you talk to us a little about how you prepare for peak as it pertains to back to school?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Roxy. Yeah. So being in the educational space, we do have a unique peak of business. So we're traditionally, holiday season is everybody's peak business, and that's in like Q4. Our peak business is kind of in Q3. So if you think about like the preparing to the back to school season, that's our holiday season. And so that kind of happens in the middle part of the year. So we're kind of focused on July, August, and September as our big peak months of the selling season. So right now we're in the process of gearing up for that, and we're kind of using our historical data from last year. Kind of looking at what worked, what didn't, how can we optimize, how can we think outside the box with regards to our competitors, how can we differentiate ourselves from our competitors. And so kind of the things that I do as a merchandiser to prepare for that is I kind of use the analytics available to me within Bloomreach, and you can do this with any type of program that you use. And you just want to kind of go back to like putting yourself in the customer's shoes. What are they shopping for? What are they adding to their cart? What products are they converting on? And you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward with regards to the merchandising. And by that, you want to identify any high traffic or event specific search terms that you currently have, and kind of view that year over year, what has changed in the market space and like what has changed in the consumer trends. What are their top keywords, the top search queries, type those in yourself on the website and shop your website. Are you getting the most accurate results that that you feel the customer should receive? If not, go ahead and audit and manipulate those search results so you're putting your best foot forward to the customer as you enter into your peak selling season. and focus on trends in the retail landscape. What queries right now have the highest increase in volume? Do you have a dedicated landing page that you can redirect that customer to? So if they're searching in, for example, we have summer camps. So we have a specific camp landing page. So if a customer types in summer camp, I want to make sure I redirect them to this beautifully created landing page that we have with a huge assortment of different categories and products to choose from. So that's a key thing, is making sure that if you have invested time and effort into, creating, very, specific ad campaigns, marketing initiatives, beautiful banners, curating product landing pages, you want to make sure, that, uh, work, doesn't go unnoticed. You want to make sure you want to redirect the customer to those specific pages that you've created. And then, what are some of the queries with the highest visits? Going back to that, making sure you implement, a redirect to that specific PLP. And then if you can, in recap, kind of optimize those search queries, based on the assortment that your specific, tool results for the customer. You want to also make sure that you audit and update, any redirects or search ranking rules that you may have for like seasonal PLPs. So for example, going back to like last year's campaigns, I'm going to audit those and make sure that they're up to date to this year's campaigns, and making sure everything's all cleaned up. I don't have anything locked in place. I don't have old boosts. I don't have any attribute filters. I'm essentially cleaning my product grid, starting from scratch, for this fresh year, fresh season. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my changes that way, adding new attribute filters, boosting the new products, so on and so forth. And you can think of this ultimately as your like spring cleaning. So we're cleaning up the old, from last year, and we're bringing in the new. We're starting, on a fresh, blank slate that we can go ahead and build upon our new initiatives on. Revisiting categories that you may have manually merchandised. And what you can do is make sure you utilize your bulk operation, features to help clean up product grids. Those tools are at your fingertips to make, the merchandising merchandiser's job easier, more steadfast, so you're not bogged down with more manual, operations. Um, let's see, what else do we want to go over? Another important thing is to review all different reports that are available to you within the program that you use. For example, Bloomreach offers, what are your lowest converting category pages? What are your high exit rate category pages? Categories with missing products, high next search traffic category pages, trending categories. Take a look at those, on a weekly basis, so you can kind of gauge, where the customers, where their touch point is on your specific website. What are they clicking into? What are they converting on? What do they like? What are they not liking? So if it's working, continue with it. If it's not working, go ahead and investigate a little bit deep, take a deeper dive utilizing those reports to see how you can optimize those pages to get the customer either to convert, add to cart, so on and so forth. And then I personally utilize the collections aspect of Bloomreach, and so that kind of can give you like a bird's eye view of metrics all in one place, rather than having to do one report after another. If you create a collection, you're able to see at a high level overview how that specific campaign or query or product or specific landing page is working. And so then you can kind of go ahead and um, target what you want to target, based on the performance of each of those specific I guess you could say either queries, categories, pages within those collections.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Bloomreach definitely makes it easy for merchandisers to get a pulse on their business. And you talked about a couple of things that I feel are very important. One, when you were speaking about the different reporting underneath, like, for instance, categories like high next search categories or low converting, it's so important to focus on consumer intent. And one thing that I always say is like how we merchandise and how we think about our business could be completely different with how consumers like navigate or what they search for. So taking that data analytics lens and making sure that we're incorporating that into our strategy is critical. So as we wrap things up, I do want to ask you all, and thank you so much for your thoughts today. I'm sure the audience got a lot of takeaways from it. Are there any last minute tips for our audience that you can think of?
Yeah, Roxy, I think a big one is just doing like an entire cleanup. So for example, checking your redirects to ensure that, no old rules are pointing to dead ends or old pages. And, ensuring that old landing experiences are pointing to new campaign landing pages. Maybe if some old search ranking rules and such have a bunch of product that has a lot of sellout locked to the top of pages, or any kind of boosting of product that maybe have a ton of sellout and such. I think it's really important to just do a massive cleanup as we ramp into spring.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback off that, going back to bargain Jenna, you don't want to, alienate bargain Jenna. So you obviously, no matter what, people are always drawn to sales, markdown, special sale campaigns, even if they're at a limited time. So you want to make sure, as we enter in a new season, you're still trying to clear out the old inventory that you may have. So that's still important. That's a good way to help convert the customer, build their basket, create, increase that UPT. So definitely find ways that not only can you showcase your new arrivals, but you can also showcase maybe special sale campaigns, maybe new markdowns available to the customer. Maybe you have a special limited time sale that you're breaking price on certain products that maybe don't ever go on sale. So make sure that's still at the forefront of the customer shopping experience as well.
Completely agree with both points. And I think you can get creative here too with, if you have curated products of spring readiness, there are old SKUs that could also be applicable that could go here too, as you think about cross sell strategies and building that basket, to your point, Clinton. And the last point that I would add too is as you go into this new season and your assortment changes, is to have a pulse on your null searches. I would probably check those every day until the assortment or the campaign is no longer fresh. You don't want there to be any dead ends for a campaign. So, and once we lose a consumer, it may be really tough to earn their loyalty back. So, all right, everyone, that's our show for today. First and foremost, I do want to thank my co-hosts, Clinton and Jenna. Also, thank you all for joining the meetup today. We will see you all in the next one. To stay in the know, please join our LinkedIn group. It's called Digital Merchandising Community. And with that said, have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.